University, the voice of Reichman University.
The Baseline. Stories from the court with Jonathan Rears and Nitzan Aharon.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jonathan Rears, the Baseline Podcast. We're here today. My co-host Nitzan Aharon, and we got big boy Sam Iorio in the house today. Thanks for coming, man.
Man, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. So we're going to start off with a question. So, Sam, when you look back at your past so far, what's one lesson the game taught you that had nothing to do with skill, but changed the way you approach your career and life?
Whoa, that's a deep
Starting hot.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say determination and perseverance, probably, just from situations, whether it was college or professionally. I think there's been a lot of times where, the going gets tough, and putting basketball to the side, it's just about who you are as a person and how much you love what you do. And I think throughout my career so far, I learned just how much I really do love the game, and that's why I continue to do it.
It's very well said. And so now that we got the deep stuff to start, let's
got you locked in right off the bat.
Go through your career where you played. Nitzan, you want to?
So yeah, we're gonna just kind of introduce you to the audience a little bit. So you're from Allentown, Pennsylvania, where you graduated all-time leading scorer at Parkland High School. What was that, like 1,600 points, something like that?
Just under 1,900.
Just under 1,900. My bad.
That's
Shortchanging. Then you go and play for American University. You absolutely kill it your freshman year. 33 minutes a game, 15 points. Then sophomore year, another great year at American University. Transfer over to South Alabama. Then 2 years at Niagara. Then you go pro, signing with Sheva. Been there for the past 3 years now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As you were growing up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, what kind of sparked your love for basketball?
It's kind of just always been the family. Obviously, the height, I'm the shortest one. My dad's 6'9", 6'10". My grandpa's 6'8". They both played. My grandpa, Villanova, and my dad played at Philly U and played in South America and with the Washington Generals for a little bit even. So it's just always kind of been in the family. And as far as I can remember, I've always had a ball in my hands. And growing up, football was actually my favorite sport. I played baseball. Sports in general was just my thing. It's just my love was always there. And then basketball just kind of took off as I continued to grow. I just figured that was, the best route for me.
When was that moment where you realized it was the biggest, best route for you?
Honestly, I was really into football, and when my parents weren't crazy about putting my body on the line, I kind of figured that they saw something in me with the basketball that I didn't necessarily see yet, and that was about going into middle school, I would say.
So having basketball so deep rooted in the family with your grandfather and your parents, what were some things that they were able to pass on to you?
Yeah, I mean, my grandpa's been in my corner since day one, like obsessively. I remember as young as I can remember going to Villanova games, him being in that alumni circle. Just going, seeing the guys after the game, talking to guys like Scotty Reynolds and Alan Ray, and I just remember looking up to those guys like crazy. And then, getting to talk to Coach Wright and have him give me some tips, and that was really cool experience growing up. It was always the Christmas break kind of game they played, and I remember that was a really cool childhood memory. My dad, just being a workaholic like he is, and how he shaped out his career has been on me too, and the two of them has been a really big blessing in my career. But also too, it's interesting because I got the other side of my family that doesn't play basketball has been kind of influential in their own way as well. Like with my mom, she's actually been very helpful with the mental aspect of the game, because the game's two sides, and she doesn't understand the sports as much, so she's able to help me, if it's a mental thing. And my other grandparents, they took me to every AU game, so this has been a whole family thing. They took me across the country in AAU to wherever I needed to go. So it's been kind of a whole family grind since I was in middle school.
Right, and you said it well. Basketball is two sides of the game. You have the physical aspect and the mental side, and you said your mom really helped you with that. What are some key things that you took away from what she's been able to pass on to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've naturally always just wanted to be great. That's just anyone, whatever you do, you just want to be good at it. And sometimes I got a little really hard on myself, especially when I was younger. And just her allowing me to give some knowledge about how to, take a step back and zoom out, look at the bigger picture. The world's not just staring down at just you. Even in an arena, no one's just looking at you the whole time, even though it may feel like it. So she's been able to, kind of open my eyes up and just kind of give it perspective of, there's more to what goes into the game than just going through dribbling cones and this and that. I think that really helped me throughout as I got older into like the higher levels because, that obviously the pressure's on even more.
Right. And continuing with your mom, growing up, your mom converted, right? Yeah. And you did that as well with her. So talk about that process a bit. What was that like? And you didn't probably even realize that was going to help you with your basketball career later on.
It's insane. If you would have told me 20 years ago what my life would have came of this one decision, I still haven't, I don't think, fully grasped it. I was 7 years old, and my sister was like just born, and she just made a life decision. And when you're 7, you don't really understand. I remember going vaguely to church, random Sundays, nothing like super religious. And I was baptized, all that, and she just wasn't fully into it, and she was searching for something that kind of touched her heart more. And when she made that decision, I still didn't understand it, but it was one of the most impactful decisions I think she's ever made for my life, of course, too, leading fast forward to where we are now. But at the time, yeah, she followed her heart, and she did a lot of deep research and reading, and she connected with it. And I really wasn't embracing being Jewish for a long time after that, to be honest. It just was confusing. I was young, and
right.
My dad didn't convert, so it was a lot of not that he wasn't supportive, but just a lot of I didn't want to let him down either, even though he didn't put that pressure on me at all. But it just kind of over the years, as I grew up and became my own person and fell into comfortable with who I am, I learned to actually love everything it has to offer, and the surroundings and the religion and everything has just kind of been opening up to me a lot more and more every year.
You got bar mitzvah, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
And also you have Baruch Hashem tatted on your wrist, right? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, just my first tattoo. Wanted to get something meaningful, and my mom always said that to me growing up. Like that was one of the first words she learned. So I think before I went crazy on a bigger piece, I just wanted to get something small and something meaningful, obviously. So I went with that one for my first tattoo. But yeah, it's a meaningful one, and I also have if not now, when, on the other wrist, which is in her handwriting as well, because that was her favorite quote that she always said, just to take advantage of the present.
And you take advantage of the present, and you said when you first converted and going through that process, you weren't immediately like happy about it necessarily, but like you said, like you did your bar mitzvah, and then you got the tat, you did Maccabi games, eventually made Aliyah. So how is it growing up, having the bar mitzvah, and then also playing in the Maccabi games in high school, if I believe, or college?
Yeah, it was in college.
College.
So real quick with the bar mitzvah, even it's funny because I remember I didn't invite many people from school because I still wasn't really fully into like accepting it or even like being like prideful in it, like being Jewish. So most of the kids that were there were from Hebrew school that my mom like pushed me to go to. Because again, it wasn't like I was ashamed of being Jewish, but it wasn't comfortable yet because it was so new, and there's a lot of Jewish people where I'm from, but it's not predominantly Jewish. So that was something I definitely struggled with even 6 years after. But yeah, and then as I got into high school and even older, then you start to become a man and you come into your own. And I got more confident in who I was and understood a lot more, did my own research. And that's kind of when I took that step of faith and community and really embraced it. And once I did that, wow, it's been amazing.
Did that coincide for you with your leap in terms of playing basketball? You know, you go into high school, you're becoming this star player, right? That's around the same time that you're starting to really embrace your Judaism and embrace your inner self with that. Are they aligned in any type of way?
Yeah, I don't think at that point. Maybe I think Maccabi was the first time when I was going into my first year at South Alabama, so my junior year. I think around then is when it really started to shift. Because you go there. We were in Budapest, Hungary, so you go there with people you don't know, big Jewish network, and there's no pressure of being Jewish because you're around everyone that's Jewish. And that was the first time I was really around that since my mom sent me to summer camp for like 2 years before basketball took off because she wanted me to try that. And
which camp?
It's Camp Harlem.
Okay, yeah.
Which was awesome. I had fun and it was a blast, but I still yet wasn't fully embracing, So being older and being in that environment, I think that's really when it started to shift for me personally.
Taking it back to high school, we said that you were the all-time leading scorer at your high school. At what point are you thinking about colleges? What was the whole college process like, committing to your first school?
Yeah, freshman year of high school, halfway through, I stopped playing JV and just starting varsity, and not really even knowing how it was going to go, just kind of just playing because I love the game, just playing and having good games and just doing my thing. And I just remember at the end of that year, I had got a letter sent to my coach, and my high school coach called me into his office in the middle of class, and it was a letter from Xavier and Virginia Tech, and it was just early on freshman generic letter, but that was my moment where I was like, wow, maybe this is something I should really start to work at. This is in the cards, and I just remember that being kind of a defining moment for me.
How did it feel for you getting those first letters, in the sense of that your grandpa played at Villanova, your dad played as well? Was this kind of almost a moment of my turn, let's do it, or was it a little bit of added pressure?
I think the pressure was there, but I think also it gave me kind of motivation to push that it just make it happen. I think my parents really saw something in me before I even seen it, especially my grandpa. After every game, I would get a dialogue of what I did and what I needed to do better, and I'm talking about one single AAU game, one single high school game, a pickup summer league game. I was getting a paragraph from him after everything, and he was on me from the jump. And I remember my dad going into freshman year of high school said your goal should be to score 1,000 points, and I'm 1,000 points, that's crazy, and I almost doubled that. And I remember looking back at that, and I was it's still wasn't real, because I remember him saying that and thinking about how many points that was, and that's insane. And so I think they pushed me to achieve goals that I wasn't even thinking about early on, because it just seems so crazy when you're younger. So I think their faith in me and pushed me to continue to have success.
And fast forward from those letters, you end up picking American University. What went into that, and what was it like eventually getting to the campus there?
Yeah, I was 6'5" as a freshman in high school, so obviously I didn't grow as much as people anticipated. So there were still high majors interest, but most backed off. And American came on strong and guaranteed me a lot of playing time as a freshman. And that was just something that I didn't think I could pass up, because that's very valuable. Someone that has faith in you to play that much right away. I really appreciated that. And they showed me a lot of dedication throughout the recruiting process, so it just made sense. Obviously I went there and they kept their promise, and it was a really nice freshman year. So I'm very grateful for them for kind of springboarding my career.
I mean, you get there, you get the playing time that you're promised, and you absolutely take advantage of it. Like you said, you're putting up 15 a game your freshman year. What was the transition like going from high school to college, playing with them both mentally, physically, game-wise, everything?
Yeah, It was a transition in the summer. I think we went to Australia and played against the Sydney Kings and some other professional teams in Australia right after my high school career. It was that summer. So I think having that 2 weeks is like not common. That kind of helped us jumpstart us a little early, playing against guys like that. So it helped me get comfortable earlier than usual. And then, I was also a young freshman, so, still a little ignorant and arrogant, just thinking I'm good at basketball. And I think that helped too because, when you're going into something, you don't know really what you're getting yourself into. You just want to hoop. And I kind of went in with an empty mind and just did my thing. So that helped as well. But, as you get older, you start to understand the business of Division I sports and ultimately professional sports. But when you're younger, you just want to go in and show what you could do.
And not just jumpstarting your college career. You go to Sydney and you play against them. Did that kind of spark something on your head of like, oh, there's teams playing overseas? Is that something that I may be able to do after my college career?
Yeah, my dream was always to be a professional athlete. I didn't really think about overseas as much just because everyone's always thinking about the NBA. That kind of came as it unfolded. But, being over there and just experiencing different basketball and a different life was probably the coolest 2 weeks of my life to that point because, one, Australia's a beautiful country. It was amazing. Got to snorkel the reef and, do all this other stuff along that you could never get to do again in your life, along with playing basketball. It was an amazing opportunity. And I'm really glad that teams and colleges get to do this every 4 years. So that was definitely a really cool experience.
And you do the 2 years at American University, go into the transfer, and you have to redshirt that year. That year, let's talk about that for a second. Mentally, how difficult was it to not play basketball for a full year?
Yeah, it was challenging. I kind of knew what I was getting into because that's something you got to think about when you enter the portal. But I just felt like I needed that to push myself to the level I wanted to get to. I felt like that was outside the Patriot League for me, and again with the recruiting and the transfer portal, there was a bunch of schools, but South Alabama just felt like another team that showed a lot of love. And I've always been one to go where I felt loved. And I went there and we had a really, really good team my redshirt year. It was really nice to practice against those guys and compete against them in practice and watch them have a lot of success that year. So it ended up being a really good year for me developmental wise. But yeah, when you don't get to step on the court and show your hard work paying off, it does get tough.
You said they're so successful and you're learning things. What were some of those things that you learned in that year off the court?
Yeah, it was an old group, and I think we finished second in the Sun Belt that year and on an 8-game win streak on the way to New Orleans for the conference tournament, and then they canceled it with COVID.
Oh, okay.
But just really good players. A lot of high major transfers. I think 8 high major transfers are on the team if I remember correctly, and just great guys, great athletes. It was a really fun year of basketball, other than not getting to play on the court.
So you're at South Alabama. You actually get to play there for a year, and then you go over to Niagara. What went into that decision?
Yeah, well, so my first game I got to play at South Alabama. It's the first game after COVID. South Alabama's arena is like 12,000, but it's COVID. You got like 100 people in the stands. It was different. It was different, but you get to play basketball again, so it was good. And first game of the season, we play FAU. I have I think it was like 16-4-4, like a good start to the season, whatever. And second game, we play the JUCO, the local JUCO, and I go for a layup, and my legs get taken out. I fall on my back, and my back I was done for like a month, or couldn't walk, couldn't do anything, and I just didn't really fully recover from that year. I came back because I wanted to play, but I just never felt like I was either fully in shape or fully like mobile as I used to be. And after the season, it was just tough year mentally for me. So I felt like it was best for a change of scenery. I ended up graduating from there, so I had to look into what I wanted to do for grad school as well. And obviously, coming over to Israel was also an option. But after talking with my family, I felt like it was best to take advantage of college and, you know, getting a free master's and stuff that route as well. That was something to take advantage of.
Injury setbacks are always, we hear from so many different people who get injured that it's the toughest time in someone's career. Can you walk us through kind of some of the lessons you learned during it and where your mind was at?
Yeah, that was probably my biggest and realest injury I've luckily had in my career, but still it was detrimental at times because I never experienced something like that. So for me I remember I fell and I hit my head so hard that I didn't realize how my back was hurt, and then I got up and I realized I couldn't walk, but I had to shoot the free throws, and I knew I was done, so I wanted to shoot the free throws. And after I made the free throws, I just got helped off the court, and it was a tough 2 months mentally, physically, all that, because one, your mind still tells you, you know, what you think you want to do, and my body just wasn't receptive to that. And then you don't think about, okay, I come back. I remember I came back first game against Auburn. Well, you come back, but, you know, you're 2 months out of game shape, and you think you're just going to come back to, like, how you left off, but it's, you know, you got to get your body back into that grind. And there was a lot of things that just go into it. It's mental, and it was very taxing for me because I just felt like I never was able to achieve that level that I put all that work in my redshirt year, the year before, all that. I felt like my redshirt year, I felt like I was the best I've ever been at basketball. So for it to kind of go down like that, it was tough. And, you know, shout out to our Dobo at the time there, because I remember I was in the parking lot one day late in the season, and he sat there with me and just talked with me for like an hour about, you know, how good of a player I was, and it's just it'll pass, and, you know, I still have a lot to give to this game, and I'll never forget that, because, you know, every athlete has that time in their career, and you know, injuries are part of the game, but, you know, perseverance is everything if you play a sport.
Did Maccabi help you when you went back to college on the court?
Yeah, I went to Niagara for a full year, then did Maccabi, then played one more year.
Yeah.
So I only had 1 year after Maccabi.
Did it help you when you got back?
But yeah, I think it did. It because, you know, at the end of the day, you're playing a different style of basketball, and over here it's a lot of sets and IQ and skill, and you learn a lot when you are put in that situation. So I think it definitely did, but more so than that, I would say it helps you brand yourself and, you know, be seen. And I think there's a lot to it that are positive takeaways.
Right. And you said that redshirt year, you felt like you were the best that you were ever at.
For sure.
Right. Your first 2 years, you were getting the minutes, you were scoring at a high level, rebounding at a high level. Have the redshirt year, you get hurt, unfortunately, and you go to Niagara, which is a better conference than American, right? So it's not going to be the same. Did you feel like you were able to get back to your original self after the injury?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had played a different role in Niagara, just based off what they needed. But, you know, it felt good to be productive again for sure. But yeah, it was different, but it felt good as far as the success. And my role was a little different than American, but it definitely felt good to have success again.
And I saw that a few of the guys that you played with at Niagara actually also went overseas.
Yeah,
was
sure.
Was there like talk in the locker room? Did the coaches help you kind of like think about after college what you're going to do and think about going overseas?
Yeah, I mean, he's just amazing in the basketball world. Obviously, he's a legend. What he was able to do in college at Duke, and then, you know, transfer and go play quarterback at Syracuse, that's pretty insane. So anytime he spoke about anything, I listened, because, you know, he knows what he's talking about, and he's just an unbelievable guy. So to have him in my corner, it was a big reason I even ended up going to Niagara, because I wanted to play for a guy like that. And then when that time came to, you know, make the next decision, he was fully supportive, and, you know, I remember I had many talks in his office, and even the guys, you know, Noah ended up transferring to Georgia, Marcus ended up transferring to Notre Dame, for a year after Niagara, but then they ended up over here now too, and they're having really good careers. So it's really fun to watch, like, people you were in the gym with so many hours with, start having success outside of college. It's really fun to keep tabs with everyone.
And then you do end up doing the Aliyah process to get your citizenship to come play over here in Israel. What was that process like? Was it difficult? What were some challenges that you had coming over here?
Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with it. Actually, after my freshman year, I had a agent reach out asking if I just wanted to leave college, and I was like Aliyah and citizenship and play pro, and that's when I first heard about everything. I was like, okay, started to understand what it means and what it meant for me. But obviously, I wanted to finish college and then see where we're at from there. So when college wrapped up, I went right into the Aliyah process, and it was, pretty normal, pretty smooth. Obviously, my mom converting was something that needed to be checked over, but it wasn't like it was recent. Like, she did it for the right decision when I was 7 years old, and I had a bar mitzvah, and we're involved in the Jewish community, so it was fairly simple, other than the fact that we just had to prove conversion. Was there one thing that you maybe wish that someone might have told you before signing your first overseas contract? Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I wish I was told, but if I had to pick one, I would say your first year doesn't define you as a player. Your first year gets your foot in the door. So maybe everyone's different. Maybe your first year isn't, you're making the most money you could get, but it's the best opportunity to jumpstart your career. Or maybe you are making good money, but you don't want to go live in that country. Like, everyone has a different why, everyone has a different reason, but whatever your why or your reason is, you should, I think, make a really good decision for yourself based on how you can get your foot in the door. Because an opportunity, especially as a rookie, is the best thing for you, because once you get something on your resume and you show something on the paper, you're able to have more opportunities, and as long as you continue to take advantage of that from that on, you're capable of having a really special career.
Kind of on the other side of that, once you have that foot in the door, what's a mistake that most Americans make in their first month overseas that can cost them minutes or can cost them opportunities?
Yeah, I think it's tough, because someone like me who had success in college and came over here and didn't play much as a rookie. It's tough. Like, that was the first time I didn't play ever, really. And, if you're not, going in thinking about those kind of things, or expectation-wise, they could be detrimental to your mental, or you don't want to be a headache to the team. So I think it's important to know what you're getting into, one. Two, I think it's important to trust the process, because at the end of the day, you're a professional. So, you got to act professional. You got to do what you're supposed to do, and hopefully your agent puts you in the right position where success comes from that. So that's also a big thing, of just trusting your people in your circle. And you may have not played that first year, but you touched about this with every school that you played at. You felt loved by them. Was there something about Sheva that kind of made you feel the same way, where you're talking about it now, trusting the process, and you've been there for 3 years? So is there something that Sheva has done to kind of make you feel at home? Yeah, for sure. They definitely show love. They take care of me and my family, and I'm very thankful for them for these past 3 years. But also, my situation was crazy to start my professional career. I moved here, and 2 months after I moved here, the war happens. Mm. I go home. My coach ends up passing away from cancer. So then we get an intern coach for a little bit, and a new coach comes. So, my rookie year was all over the place. There was no stability. So I had no idea. I didn't get a chance to look back on my rookie year and be like, okay, this is what professional basketball is like, because it was just not a real, sturdy year. Right. So I guess for me it was a little different. I had more ups and downs than the average person, I would say. But again, just you gotta either persevere or you give up. And I think anything in life, there's times where you can give up or not. And I think every time I didn't give up, I look back and I'm glad I didn't.
So you say that you sign here, a couple of months later, the war breaks out, October 7th. And, how much of an impact did that have on you? You also recently visited the tunnels in the Army bases over on the Gaza Strip. Seeing that with your mom, what did that kind of make you feel? And also visiting those tunnels knowing that you were in the country at that time.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. To circle back on your first question real quick, the war happening was really tough on I was here, obviously. It was really tough on my family and my loved ones. I was in Sheva, and I think I was in the country for about a week before we were able to get out and go home. And once I got home, it was really tough for my family to grasp, oh, you want to go back? You're not staying here. And all my loved ones, they just, it was really hard on them. And that made me feel guilty because I don't want to make them nervous the whole time I'm just over here trying to live out my dream either. I don't want to be selfish and have them worrying about me day in and day out. So that was really hard decision to even come back because I didn't want to put that pressure on them. But at the same time, it's I felt like my story in basketball wasn't over yet either, and I had a lot to give still. And it's crazy. I was here for 2 months, and something about those 2 months, even leaving on the plane to go home, it's I don't know, survivor's guilt or what, but you almost felt guilty leaving because you just know what you're leaving behind and how many people aren't able to get on this plane to go home after experiencing that past week. It was intense, but it was also powerful to see how I came back and everyone came together and we were able to go play games again. And, the smile that we could just bring for an hour and a half to people's faces while we entertain them while running around the court. It's really just little things in life that, could bring joy. It was really cool to be a part of that. Now, fast forward now, you see hostages getting honored before games and stuff, and just to see that and where we are now with it, it's been just really, really cool to watch unfold. And then, a month ago, I got to go to those Army base and tour it and to see the things firsthand, like the robots they use to disarm bombs or go into tunnels, or even the tunnel they used to train. I didn't know they were that small. I was ducked and crawling through it. And the whole time I'm crawling through it, I'm thinking about someone with all that armor on, a machine gun or AR, whatever they have, how heavy that is. And they're crouching through these tunnels just trying to imagine what goes on in their heads. It was very powerful, and I'm very grateful for all the soldiers and everyone because that was an unbelievable experience.
And you talk about, right, coming back here is tough on your loved ones and because they don't really understand what it's like to live here, but you also have teammates that are still here. Right? So that must have been difficult to you also want to go back here. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Everyone back home only can see what they see on the news, unfortunately. And, the news is going to show what gets views, and it's not always the prettiest stuff. And I understand that. And I understand why people feel the way they do about, my safety. But I also told them, I said, I feel like I wouldn't have gone back if I didn't feel safe.
Did you have to deal with any backlash from maybe high school or college teammates, friends of yours from the past who may have not been aware of anything, and then suddenly the whole war breaks out and stuff, and then you're going over there to Israel to play basketball and you're Jewish and you love Israel and all of that? Did you have to deal with backlash from teammates or people in your life?
I really have not, fortunately. So, but I also I think even when the war happened, I felt like I tried to, I would always show my love for Israel, but I also was on my page saying, I know there's good people on every side of this, and I just want to see like the good in all of the world, like push through any evil, just to show that I'm not trying to just make it seem like I'm this evil person that just wants to play basketball. Like I just want to play basketball, and I want love in the world just like everyone else. I think there's good people in this world, and evil always overshadows that. So I wish we could all live in a world where there's good.
Amen.
Amen.
That's kind of always been where I stand. Like I try not to get too deep into it, because I just know at the base of all of it, I just want to push good in the world.
First of all, I want to commend your perseverance with all of this. Like, really, it was a tough time, and the fact that you were so dead set on coming back is really honestly incredible. During that time, though, was there a thought that went into your head of saying, maybe I don't go to Israel, maybe I find? Were you starting to look at other options?
Absolutely.
Yeah, can you walk us through that?
Yeah. My heart never left basketball, but my mind, it was very intense. Like I was new here, so I wasn't like super drawn to the country yet. And there's a lot of unknowns at the time still. So, it always had to have a backup plan. I have my real estate license. So I started to get into finishing that and doing some investing and some work with my mom, because she's a real estate agent as well. And
mine too.
Yeah. See, so there you go. But so I took a sales class. My dad's a sales trainer, so I took a sales class while I was home from the war. I did a bunch of different little things just to stay prepared, just in case. I always try to like stay well-rounded in general. Like I have a lot of free time, obviously, when I'm not at practice.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's reading a business book or business podcast or investing, whatever it may be, I'm kind of into that. So it was definitely something I stayed on top of when I was home.
Your mind really went immediately to the backup options, as you said, but did you think about playing somewhere else, or was it really play in Israel or go do business?
Yeah, so that was the tough part. I was on a 3-year contract.
Got it.
So it wasn't as simple as just go somewhere else.
That's interesting. So speak about that a little bit. Coming out of college, you sign a 3-year contract. It's not so common, I would say, in overseas basketball. So you get this contract, and you have one team that you're with for 3 years, and now you just re-signed with them?
No, I had
You're
a
on your
player
third
option.
year.
I picked up my last year.
Picked up your last year. So you spoke about, like, you were there for 2 months. You weren't necessarily so drawn to the country yet. Being here for 3 years now, what has drawn you to Israel on and off the court?
Yeah, well, Israel in general is just a super unique country. And especially with Tel Aviv, like I feel like there's no place like Tel Aviv in the world. And every time I go home, I kind of realize like how special a place this is. So, and you add that to being able to like play professional sports, live out your dream, and make a living off playing basketball, like, and do something you're super passionate about. It's something that I'm grateful to wake up every day and do. And I think that when you combine those two things, it makes it easy to come back year in and year out. And Sheva, I know it was crazy, it's a long-term deal, but as a rookie, I thought it was great to get my foot in the door, and having the consistency of one team and being comfortable in a setting and just developing through the same system, I thought was good. And my agent is really close with one of upper management, and
Is it the same agent throughout the whole contract?
Yeah, my agent, he knows the upper management real well. So for him to have that trust made me feel comfortable enough to make that decision.
And you're with Blue and White Basketball Agency,
I'm with
Ronnie Levy.
Blue and White and One Motive Sports. So my American agent, who's FIBA and NBA, was at the time working with that with Beersheva, and him being comfortable with the 3-year thing kind of made me more comfortable with it, because I know it's a kind of a unique situation,
right, yeah.
But it ended up turning out to be really, really good for me. And they treat us great in Beersheva. It's just a great team to be a part of. I know everyone that's came there for 2 months or 3 years, like they all have good things to say about it, and they treat us like family. And you know, I heard from other stories, not in Israel, but just overseas basketball, you don't always get that. So I feel like that's something to be grateful for as well.
You know, with overseas basketball, you said that there's a lot of uniqueness here, and there's a lot of differences in what you do. So, like, what was a moment that you realized overseas basketball is nothing like playing Division I in the States?
Yeah, it's different. And I learned that when rookies sometimes come and struggle, or rookies sometimes come and don't play. It's not always personal, but you just got to go prove yourself again like you're a freshman, because you're entering another grown man game, just like you did from high school to D1. And they want to go, the people want to see that you can hold your own just like you had to do when you stepped on a college campus. And just understanding that and not taking it personal with the ego, and just go do what you have to do and be professional. And eventually you'll understand that the system, even though it's a little different, you're still playing the same game, and you kind of figure out the flow of things, and everything comes over time. And it's just kind of maintaining that course.
And you spoke about like how you have a lot of free time, right? Because you have that one practice a day, and you're here by yourself. You don't have your family out here. I'm sure you've had to deal with some loneliness. So how do you deal with loneliness off the court?
That's a great question, because that's a big thing, I think, for people over here, especially that don't have people with them. It's a beautiful thing to have FaceTime now, because you get to stay connected, talk to my parents every day, talk to my best friends every day. And other than that, I really try to stay busy with either reading or podcasts and stuff like that, or investments stuff, anything that I feel like I can do to not be one dimensional. I try to do just to take advantage of the free time, make myself spread out in other ways, not just basketball. I think it just helps, because when you have so much free time, it's silly for me to just sit and like my rookie year, I was just trying to get through the days, play video games, it gets past the time, but I try to be more productive than that, because I end up feeling better at the end of the day. I feel more accomplished. For
sure. Now we're going to do a little something new that we haven't done in a while, or ever actually.
Yeah, first time.
First time. We're going to go with a little segment we're going to call Myths or Facts. All right?
Okay.
So we'll do like a 2-and-2 situation.
2-and-2, solid.
EuroLeague is easier than college.
EuroLeague is easier than college. I'm going to have to say that's a myth. EuroLeague is a high-level professional league, and, colleges as well. But I just think with the experience, older, more physical, grown, I can't get in the IQ. I can't give that to college just yet. Maybe if as we see more 29-year-old seniors,
right? Yeah,
that'll change. But
seeing pros get signed to D1.
Yeah.
So we'll go over the next one. Everyone overseas gets paid big money.
Nah, it's a myth. That's a myth. That's
don't need to expand on that.
Don't need to expand.
Yeah. How about number 3? Agents handle everything.
If you have the right one.
You got the right one?
I love my agents. I think they do a great job. Drew and Ronnie and Thomas, I think I feel comfortable that if I have a question or I need something done, I can go to any of them and it'll get done. And I know for a fact that that's not like everyone. Yeah. So just hearing other people talk about it, so I feel like I'm blessed in that situation.
So the next one is European basketball is just slower than the NBA.
As far as pace.
Everything.
I mean, you're in probably one of the fastest leagues.
Yeah,
overseas.
I would say ours is pretty fast. I mean, NBA's fast. They put up a lot of points, so I would give that to the NBA. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's slow by any means. But it's just more like there's definitely more defense. So maybe that does slow it down.
Moving on to the next one. If you work hard, teams will find you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see it, especially over here, overseas. Like people that play D2 or D3 have high level success. It's not, not times, it's not always the most skilled players, but what you bring to the team and what your value is really does matter, especially in the professional teams. So
scoring is all that matters overseas.
Absolutely not. You got to guard, you got to rebound, you got to hit somebody, you got to have a good IQ. Everything matters over here.
Speaking of that, strength doesn't matter in Europe.
Strength matters. It's a grown man's game over here, for sure.
And then last one, defense is easier overseas
Then the NBA?
than NBA, D1, anything in the States.
I mean, I think defense, again, like, I think defense matters here, depending on who you play for. But I would say it's a staple.
Now, I have a couple more questions before we wrap up. You played Maccabi Yad during your college career. Did that experience kind of fuel your desire to play pro in Israel, even though you maybe had other opportunities outside of Israel?
Yeah, it definitely gave me a image to see what life could be like. And then as far as opportunity and what made sense for me as my career-wise and lifestyle-wise and taking care of my family and all that, being a citizen here, it definitely just made sense.
And then we noticed that you said you grew up with Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, we played against each other in high school.
How cool is that to kind of see that he ended up coming over to play in the same league?
It was. I mean, we haven't talked since I think, senior year of high school, and we used to battle, and we were at the free throw line, and he was like, "What's up?" Like, came a long way, and it was like, man, this is insane. Like, from being in Allentown, Reading, Pennsylvania to Israel, it was like
super random.
Yeah, it's just like it just shows you like where the game could take you. Like, our routes were completely different, but you know, when we found each other battling on the same court again, it's like, and basketball is a beautiful game. I'm grateful for everything it's given me.
We love to talk about it. Like, basketball, it's such a big game all over the world, but it's such a small community.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
It's crazy.
It's a blessing. I mean, it has given me more opportunities than I could ever, imagine. I'm super grateful for everything this game has given me.
Yeah. So as we're wrapping up, this is a great podcast. I want to ask you, for someone from America, converted to Judaism, ends up getting the passport, coming to Israel, what's like a big piece of advice that you might have for a college player coming out, wanting to experience a little bit more about overseas basketball? Yeah,
take the leap. I mean, you never know where it could take you. Worst case scenario, it doesn't fit you, or it doesn't work out, and you go back. But I don't think it's good to live with what ifs. And I think everyone that comes here for whatever reason has a good story behind it and finds a good fit in something. So it's always worth the shot, because you never know where that could take you.
You're right. A lot of players have good stories, and we're trying to feed them out to the audience.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
As we wrap up, we do this little segment called the Shot Clock. We're going to do some rapid fire questions, and we'll wrap up. So,
you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Going back and forth?
Yeah, we're going to.
Okay, cool.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Favorite Hebrew word?
Sababa.
Favorite basketball movie?
Loving basketball.
Shawarma or falafel?
Shawarma.
Ankle breaker or poster dunk?
Poster.
Mountains or beaches?
Both.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Night out or night in?
Night in.
Favorite musician?
Future.
Craziest fans you've played in front of?
Auburn.
And favorite food?
Favorite food? Ooh, chicken.
Incredible, man.
I knew you were going to say Future.
Give out the Future vibes.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, man. This was amazing. If there's any last words you want to say.
Nah, I appreciate you guys having me. This has been fun. And I appreciate all you guys do for the basketball world. So keep it going.
Thank you for coming out, man.
Baseline. Let's go.